No, I said tune a piano, not tuna. Yes, I need someone to tune my piano. No. Okay, all right. Listen, I don't care. Oh. I'm always okay. You know that. When you're crazy, everything's okay. No. We've got a pretty cool show tonight. All the shows are really cool, but this one we kind of been working on for a long time. And we've got two people that all y'all know if you have been following my shows, if you know anything about all the stuff that I do. It's always about community service. It's always about so we've got shows that we've done with working with kids. We've got the bionic arm guy. Remember him? We did Alzheimer's. No, autism. I always mix those two up. We've done a lot of community service programs, and this is another one that was first brought to me by Art, and he goes, "Hey, I got an idea. And I stopped him. I said, I know what it is. I'm reading your mind. Yes, let's do this." So we were struggling with this name. What are we going to call this thing? How are we going to do this? And I got it. We're going to call it Paint and Sober. So when we started bouncing around the idea, I had made a new friend in the paintball world. His name is Adam. And we started talking about his journey and things. And I said, dude, Art and I are working on the show called Paint and Sober. He goes, that's it. I'm in. Put me on. I said, okay. So with these two powerhouses, we created this thing. And we've also got Holly. And Holly is a yoga instructor that actually is helping Art on his journey. So you're going to meet these three cool cats if you haven't already met them, if you don't know who these people are. But what we're hoping in the show today is that their journey can help your journey. Maybe from their stories, that the things that they're going through or have gone through. Maybe if you need to reach out, you can reach out to these guys and say, hey, I'm kind of on the low key about this, and and they're there to help, and that's what we're here for. We're here to help. So I'm going to give you two quick anecdotes that I have to do with this. I am not. I'm not even a big drinker, so I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with the. This stuff, I just got a big problem just being on the spectrum. But the way that I'm connected to this and the way I learned about it was, number one was I took a cruise with the wife. I don't know, this is about 20 years ago. And if you've ever taken a cruise, you want to do everything possible. It's like, yeah, they've got like 6 o'clock in the morning, a shuffleboard and cards and da 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 da. And I looked online on the thing, and I know it's hard to see, but this one was circled on my thing, and it was Friends of Bill W. And I said, that's cool. I like making new friends. Who's Friends of Bill W? I'll go check it out. So it's like 7 o'clock in the morning. I go down there, and all of these people are basically just sitting around, and the one person will stand up and start saying, I've got this going on. I got that. And then another person would stand up and like, man, these people are depressed. What the hell's going on with these people? So then I'm like, well, I don't even know where Bill is. Here's Bill. There's Bill W. But I don't even know where Bill is. Well, apparently Bill wasn't there. And Friends of Bill W is the down low way of saying, whether it's a substance abuse anonymous type of thing. So friends of Bill W. So if you're ever on a cruise and you want to make friends, you might want to go last year. I have this thing with money. I don't really care about it. My wife's a financial planner. I have money. We have a nice house. Everything's good. I don't care about money. I care about people and life. So in doing so, sometimes I could overspend. And I did. And my wife said, I'm going to teach you a lesson. I'm going to send you to this thing. It's Spenders Anonymous or whatever else. They gave me this address, and I went down to this place, this huge building. And in the building, there's a guy that sits in the front. And he goes, what is your ailment or not? What is your something? And I go, huh? He goes, yes, we have Alcoholics Anonymous, Sexual Anonymous. We have Substance Abuse Anonymous. I said, wow. I said, I'm here for the money one. So they go, that B, 3B. So I went down to 3B, and I'm sitting in the room. I've got this problem. I'm doing this, and they said, oh, like, and then they turned to me because I was a new guy, and they said, would you like to see? And I said, no, I don't want to. I don't even want to be here. So, at the end, they all got into a big circle. I didn't go, and they all, said there's a higher power and there's a 12-step, and I said, listen, I clocked my time. I'm out of here. I went home and I cut up my credit cards. I said, you win. I don't want to be in anything like this. That's it. So those are my two things, which are like really, really small compared to what you're going to hear tonight. So, listen, you guys, I want to again emphasize that we're here to help you guys. In my craziness, the way that I do my shows, I'm here to help you guys too. And these two cool cats, and Holly, she's a cool cat. She's a catress as well, and Art is a cat. Well, find help, heal, something like that. Anyway. All right, so you've heard my story. I didn't get any chips, nothing. I had some Vegas chips, but that was a different kind of chip. Anyway, so listen, let's go around the horn. And we're going to start with Art. And Art, you're going to tell us who you are. And this isn't, this is not my world. So if you want to stand up and say, I'm Art, I'm blah, 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 or let's just introduce you, and then you guys can help me out with this thing, please. Okay, Art and I have been friends for a very, very long time. Way back when I first started playing, he started playing. He was a substitute teacher, and one of the he said to one of his students, he goes, "Hey, I play paintball," and the kid said, "I play paintball too." Oh, and then the kid, so they mentioned my name somehow, and then Art says, "I'm friends with Reaper," and after that, Art was a god to this kid, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. Anyway, this is Art, and he's just a really cool cat and a good friend of mine. Art, tell everybody who you are.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Art. Yeah, I guess I'm a recovering alcoholic. Actually, July 1st is my 2-year anniversary.
Nice.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Yay.
All right.
I got that going for me. Yeah, so, I started playing paintball 5 years ago, around the time that we first met. And I was actually sober living back then. And then, with paintball, drugs and alcohol are very prevalent
Right.
in certain circles. And, I thought, I could start drinking again. I could have one and be sociable. I could have two and be in control. And I could drink this 30-pack and I'll be fine. So it's a very slippery slope.
All right.
It's a very slippery slope. And, but yeah, so 2 years ago, I woke up one day and I literally thought to myself, today's the day that I'm going to die. And
Wow.
I kind of got everything ready. Looking back on it, I actually left a lot of loose ends, but at the time I didn't think of it. Right. And I reached out to one of our very, very important members of our community, Lobo. And I said, hey, Jeff, I'm not in good shape. What should I do? And he said, there's 3 things you have to do before the end of the day. Go to therapy, go to AA, and sign up for a year of yoga. So right away, I got a therapist. I saw him within like a 2-hour time period. He had an opening, so I went, did that. I was cool there. I went to a meeting, right? I went to a 45-minute meeting. I cut out early because I didn't want to do the Serenity Prayer at the end, which I'm very familiar with. And I drove home and I said, you know what? Like, I did really well. I did 2 out of 3. That deserves a drink. So where we live, where we live, at the end of our block is actually a bar. At the time, I lived in an apartment with my teammate, and we lived between 4 bars.
Wow.
So party time all the time. And I went to open the door, and I opened it, and I looked up. There's a sign that says, the Boondocks, the name of the bar. And I opened it up, and I said, yes, good times. So then I looked to the right, and there was a sign that said, like Sundry Yoga. And I'm like, I recognize that word. That is a word that I'm supposed to investigate and sign up for. So I closed the yoga, or I closed the door to the bar, and I went next door and I opened up the door to the yoga studio, and there was this lady at the podium at the desk, and she's like, "Oh, how can I help you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think I'm supposed to do yoga." And she's like, "All right, like, what's your thing, man?" And I'm like, "I've never done it before." And Holly, I apologize, but I love telling this part of the story. I always tell this part of the story where I say, like, I don't like yoga. I'm a dude. Yoga's not for dudes. Like, that's not a thing. And it, like, you could try, but it's not gonna. I just gotta do this one thing, And she's like, "All right, well, give me 2 weeks, and I'll have you hooked." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sure, lady, whatever, pandering, And at the end of that 30 minutes, she gave me an intro crash course in that 30-minute time period, and I was hooked. And I did it for about a year, I think. And then I had to move for various reasons, and I stopped going to her studio. But every now and then I'll break out the yoga, and especially at paintball events. Do you get nice and limber and stuff like that?
Right.
Oh man, it feels great.
Wow.
It feels wonderful.
All right. So this lady below me here was the one that you saw at the podium, and she's the one that said, "Hey, welcome to my namaste." Is that how do you say it?
Namaste.
Whatever. Namaste. I don't even do that well. Anyway, namaste.
We'll get you there. Give me 2 weeks.
All right, I will. Okay, cool. So she's live from Arizona. Because of COVID, she had to go online, and so we're going to talk a little bit, like actually right now, with her, and then we're going to jump over to Adam. So so then let's pick up on the story. You were minding your business when this homeless guy. No, I'm joking.
Right.
You were minding your business, and wait, hang on a second. Today's your birthday?
Who, mine?
Whose birthday?
Is it your birthday?
No. July 1st.
Okay, no, that's the 2-year birthday of the sober thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how you call it birthdays. Okay, cool. All right. So Holly.
It's a sobriety date, Reaper.
Okay, thank you. All right. So listen. So Holly, this guy comes in. He's like resistant. And did he tell you that somebody else told him to go in there because it's part of this step process kind of thing?
Yeah. He came in and he was super just transparent and open and just talked to me about it. And I loved that. So many people have their walls up, and Art just comes in and he's like, "This is a bunch of bullshit. I'm just here because my therapist told me." And I'm like, "Great, welcome." And then we just kind of talked. But I always appreciated Art's open-heartedness, always, from literally the minute he walked in the doors.
Wow. Okay, so here's the deal. I believe in signs. I believe in synchronicity. I believe in my wife and my daughter just watched Serendipity or something. I mean, I'm all into that kind of stuff. You can't see it, but I know it exists, right? So he walks to this bar that could have been any bar, and he sees yours. And he could have walked to any yoga studio and gotten an idiot who said, "Yeah, we have schedule so and so." But he walked to the right bar, saw the right sign, and got the right girl.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And literally every time he came and would take class, it was the door to the left or the door to the right, with in his face, like pushing the issue every single time.
Dude. Okay. So then he stuck with it. You helped him, and now he's the guy that I've always known. I didn't see. I didn't listen. One quick thing here. We went out to dinner last year, I think, for my birthday, and we hadn't seen each other for like a couple of years or something, and I just was babbling, I just like this, and I go, "Can I buy you a drink?" And he goes, all right, no, I'm gonna have to tell you, I'm like this, I'm sober. And I go, "Oh, well, can I get you a cream soda or something? I don't know, whatever you drink." So that's when I found out. He's been kind of like, not on the down low, but just kind of like, it wasn't a thing. He wasn't really, talking about it. he's such a cool cat, and I'm really super happy that he met you and that Lobo directed him, and that because he's just he's got such a big heart. So
For sure.
Holly, thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's all the time we have. So I love that joke. I love that joke, Holly. We're gonna come back to you. We're gonna come back to Art. Beast. If you don't know who Adam Lang is, they call him the Beast of the East, the Beast Coast. He's a magnet player. He was, let me see how this, he's been, I think, in for 5 years, drank the Kool-Aid about 5 years as far as our sport is concerned. And he's very, let me just put this, he was very vocal on the forums about what he didn't like. And I was one of them. And then all of a sudden we started getting to know each other, and we're like, hey, we got a lot more in common than we don't. And then we said, you know what? Let's make this work. So then when I was doing a show, or I was also talking about his product that's scrolling down at the bottom, he was telling me about his journey and all the stuff that he's gone through. And then when it's just, again, it's like synchronicity. When Art said we need to do a show on this, and then at the same time, Beast had also told me that he's also in that situation, that he's doing the thing. And then Art and Beast know each other. It was like the gods are just like, and that's what happened. That's what happened. That's why we are here today, because of these guys and Art and Beast. Let it rip, man. What's your, listen, don't give us the whole 3-hour thing, just to something so we can bounce around. So
really easy. I'm a former, how do I say this, street pharmacist. I was not only the client, I was the president, the delivery boy, and the tester. And I also did security, and I worked nightlife in New York City and the Hamptons for years, and promotional companies and bouncing and security and whatnot. Through all that, I had a major operation where I broke my spine and herniated to 3 discs, L4, L5, L5S1 on my lower vertebrae. Now, at 20 years old, that's a bad injury. Ali, you're probably familiar with those injuries, and a fusion on a 20-year-old that's a bouncer, not a good look.
No.
So I actually got locked in a fetal position. Now, before this, I'd only done street drugs. And when people raided their grandmother's medicine cabinets, I always laughed at them, like, is that shit? I got much better drugs than that crap. Little did I know I was wrong. No, the Purdue, Merck, Pfizer, they know what they're doing. They chemically engineer opiates to make them even more addictive, and lied to the public about it. And when I had my surgery, I got hooked. 80 milligram oxy pills, 360 a month with 3 refills. Back then they refilled. Now everybody listening to this show right now, his eyes are lit up. Yeah, that's about $15,000 street value from that one doctor, and I had 8 doctors. And my insurance covered everything. It was unbelievable. Now fast forward to when I decided to get clean. For about 15 to 20 years, I spent under the, on just regular drugs, and then another 10 under opiates. It was a long, hard, rough ride. I lost everything. I had a business. I owned the ice cream route in Queens, a $250,000 business year. It was good. It went up my nose in 2 months. When I went and I was about to kill myself, my best friend, Dan Water, big shout out to him if he's watching. If he's not, I know, he'll hear it. But me and him lived across the street from each other in Queens. And one day I had doctor shopped enough. I got cut off from half my doctors. I, did a month's supply in 3 days. And I had 27 days before I refilled. And if anybody's been addicted to opiates or heroin before, day 2 of withdrawal is not fun. Not a good look. So at day 3, I decided to kill myself. And I went up to the train to do it because it was the only thing I knew that might have a chance of actually succeeding. So I was going to toss myself in front of a train. And I don't remember what exactly happened that stopped me. But my honestly, I think it was I had to have a bowel movement at the time, to be gross and completely honest with everybody. So I went back to my apartment to do that, and then passed out on the floor of my living room and woke up to my best friend standing above me saying, bro, you got to call your parents. Because we hadn't spoken in years. They made, they're like, you're a bad drug addict. You're a bad person. We don't want to have anything to do with you unless you clean up your act. And I'm like, all right, good. I don't need the nagging. That was that. I hadn't spoken to them for, 2 years. And this was, I'm 9.5 years sober right now, speaking to all of you. So
congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. And, I'm not going to get into the, in the rooms we've been down every road, death, what did they say? Death, jail, or mental. I've been all 3. I've had a heart attack or a heart seizure. They called it at 16 and 18. I was out at college they had to bring me back with the shocks. I've been to jail. I've been to mental institutions, and I've been to halfway houses, 3/4 way houses, dual diagnostic rehab facilities, and detox facilities. I did an entire, I've done my state, and I did one and done. This is my first time trying sobriety since I picked up drugs at, 13. And I'm 39 years old. And like I said, I'm 9.5 years sober. So welcome everybody. And if you think, you're alone, you're not. If you think you're a superhero, you're not. If you think you're a supervillain, you're not. We all have a story. We all have our problems. But everybody on this page, everybody in life, everyone you meet and everyone you open up to and talk to, that truly has been through what some of us on this screen have, man, we're here to help. And it's not as hard as you think. If you put half the amount of energy into staying clean as you did to chasing your high, you'll succeed.
Wow. Okay. Again, I am a babe in the woods in this thing. When Art and I first started talking about this, and B started jumping in, B said, this has got to be more about like a mental illness thing than it's just like, because I thought, again, AA, I thought it was just like, Alcoholics Anonymous or whatever the other things were, without touching on the actual, it is a mental, everything basically is mental, but this is a mental kind of thing where
that's
some people
could debate on who you're prescribing to, whether it's AA, NA, or SMART.
Okay, so
it really is. I don't think anybody on this planet has a drug problem. I really don't. I think we all have drug solutions to problems that we either don't know about or are trying to run from.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So the way that I've always looked at it is, you can go, again, in the paintball world, you can hang out with people who, I was in North Carolina and they're drinking moonshine and they get drunk and they come back up, everything's fine. And they don't think that there's a problem. That's part of their social DNA kind of thing. So that's why I'm always kind of confused where it comes in when you start saying like, I'm an alcoholic. So an alcoholic, let's just go with alcoholism for the first thing. Is that you're basically saying that you can't live without it? Like, listen, the only time I buy beer is when we're gonna have a party, and other than that, I have like maybe a 6-pack of Corona, and that's it. And then I might not even touch it. So I don't really need that thing. Are you saying that an alcoholic needs that you need that alcohol? Are you running away from something? Is it push? I don't know any of this stuff. So you got to help me out because you're helping the rest of the community that doesn't know also, Art.
All right. Yeah. So like my thing was, I was using it to self-medicate. And instead of like addressing my issues or talking about my problems, I would just drink, like I don't do very many things very well, but drinking, at the time, I thought I was really good at, like if the guy across from me could drink a 6-pack, well, I could drink an 18-pack.
Wow.
Then, so on and so forth. But yeah, like it initially started as a way to like, as a coping mechanism, I got daddy issues. I got, mental issues against myself. I'm never good enough or what have you not. And
right.
Like, whenever I drink, like it would just kind of like numb it. It would dull it. I didn't have to think about that, like it'd be a tomorrow morning Art problem. Like, fuck that guy, whatever. Drink.
So let me ask you that. Art, let me ask you that question though. Again, I'm looking at this as a very naive kind of thing. Okay. So I've always looked at like, there's the, what is it called? The town bum back in the day, or he was like the wino or those kind of guys who would just lay around and drink and like, oh, poor guy and stuff. Without thinking about like what you just said, what you're hitting on basically is that, you had other issues that you were trying to numb and
yeah,
you're instead of facing these issues, you were just basically drowning these issues kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah.
You found the alcohol to do that. Did you ever think about like hitting the other, like go to counseling before this alcoholic thing?
Yeah. So when, like I said, when I first started playing paintball, I was sober. I was 13 months sober before I had my first beer, my return beer or whatever. And that was, it was actually at a barbecue with my teammates. And like, I don't remember it, but clearly it made enough of an impact on my teammates that they remember what I said. They said, they're like, yeah, like we didn't realize that you were sober. And we were at a barbecue and we were in the backyard and we handed you a beer and you were like, oh, okay, cool. And like you opened it up and then you were looking at it and then you looked at us and you're like, yeah, I haven't had a beer in 13 months. I'm sober. And I took a drink. And I'm like, oh shit, I don't remember that. But that's terrible, right? But yeah, like back in the day or whatever, I thought that I could like maintain and control it. And I had at that time I'd gone religiously to AA. I'd gone to AA 4 times out of the week.
Wow.
I went Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday, Friday, and sometimes I would go on Sunday mornings. But
Okay.
then when obviously Sunday is paintball day, so that I cut out the Sunday one, and then it gradually I went less and less,
Okay.
But yeah, that first time, like I had a sponsor. I called him. I called him every Thursday after work when I was driving on my way to therapy, because I started going to therapy too, which is when I realized that, hey, there's bigger issues than like just like not being able to stop at 2 or 3, and unfortunately my sponsor passed away. He had other medical issues that finally caught up to him, and I've yet to get a new sponsor. But with that said, I also don't go to AA. I don't do the traditional route. I don't go to AA. I don't talk to anyone. I don't like feel a need to do any of that stuff. I say my serenity prayers. I I have a set of mala beads that I meditate with in the evening when I'm a little stressed out. I have my 12-step booklet, but like I know like what needs to come from within, and I now realize that I truly am stronger than any substance out there, so I don't need it. That'll just bring you down
Okay.
to that mortal level. And
So,
oh my
so
God,
let me ask
paintball,
let me ask let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. If you
Yeah.
were to go to counseling and maybe fix all of the things that happened to you in your past, would you still be an alcoholic even if you fixed all your other stuff? Is it, or is it? I don't understand how that works.
I don't really know, man. Like if you take out that little like that bug or whatever that wants
Yeah,
the booze,
yeah.
Yeah, I think that I'd probably be okay. I don't know, but you know what?
Okay.
Like even now, like daily, especially with the COVID and the lockdown, right? You're seeing everyone working from home. You're seeing everyone like, like I'm stuck at home, this, that, the other. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. I'm drinking whiskey, or like, you see on the messenger, like, oh man, like we're playing video games and getting drunk, and I'm just like, it is 9 a.m. Like that's great. Like, so I've been toying with the idea, since day one of the lockdown. I'm like, could I maybe have a drink? Could I maybe
No, yeah.
like enjoy social hours on Friday evenings or whatever? And
No,
the
okay.
answer is no. Like,
I remember being at that level at 2 years, to be honest with you. I used to have dreams where I would snort drugs in my dreams, and I'd wake up in the morning and with tears, like, oh my fucking God. And then I'd be like, oh, that was a dream. At 2 years, I was still having those. Yeah.
Wow. So
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So let me ask. Let me just say this. Listen, Art. I have almost over 500 sponsors. So if you want one of mine, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
All right.
I'm just joking. Okay.
No, real quick, in answer to that question, like for me personally, I don't. I haven't partaken, and I probably won't.
Okay.
And,
so here's the reason. Here's the reason I'm asking. Because sometimes I feel that sometimes people take one thing to just cover for the other thing. So, like if you are considered an alcoholic, and then you go to these 12-step programs or you take yoga or whatever else, you're basically again replacing one thing for another thing without really fixing
and that's exactly
the main
what
thing.
It was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that where you are right now, though? You've kind of like you're if you wanted to, you could actually take a drink and go to that other route, but you're kind of keep on saying, listen, I'm staying away. I love yoga. I love paintball. So it's like a fight all the time.
Yeah. And like after a certain period of time, people just start to know, like, oh, you don't drink, or oh, like I could be around you and have a beer and it's okay. And that's where I'm at, like,
Okay.
so currently I go to therapy,
Yeah.
like I talk to my higher power, I meditate, every now and then when I get a kink, I do yoga. I should do yoga more often, but I don't. I admit being lazy.
Call Holly. She'll do it online.
Nah, yoga's
Exactly.
tough. I can't do yoga.
Okay,
Oh,
so
that's wonderful.
all right, so Art, so Adam, let me ask you this. We've talked in depth about, like your parents spent like zillions of dollars to get you on a great path. But let me ask you the same question. Is there some we talked when we actually, if you guys go back, you can watch the show that Adam and I did. We did a little bio show about him, and you can kind of see a little bit about his history. What I'm asking the same question, Adam, do you feel that if you were able to maybe fix your history?
I'm going to be honest. No, I don't. Everything that I've ever done in my life, we've talked about this. I don't live with regret. I don't have time for it. I don't regret anything that I do. Maybe regret going. No, I don't regret going to jail either. I had a good time there. I regret losing my Second Amendment right. That I regret. But I'll be honest with you. Even at 9 years sober, if there was a way for me to do heroin right now with no bad consequences, like I wouldn't lose my family, I wouldn't have withdrawals, I'd do it in a heartbeat still. I would. It's a fight every day. I'm 9.5 years out, and it's easy. It gets very easy along the way, Art. So don't feel bad. 2 years feels like an accomplishment and a half, and here I am at 9.5 looking at people that have 30. Like, Jesus, how the hell did they get out to 30? But one thing is for certain: if you have an addiction and if you've gotten through the first 3 weeks of the pandemic end of the world and you didn't use, you're doing fucking great. Congratulate yourself. Like, I don't know where you're at right now, but if you were able to get through this without using, I'm pretty sure, other than zombies trying to break down your door, you're probably going to be good, because this was a test. I mean, in the beginning stages of COVID, people thought the world was going to end. Look, in 1999, they thought the world was going to end when we had the Y2K. Every few years we get, people get scared. And when people get scared and fear, addiction rises, especially like you said. I can't tell you how many friends I watch making TikTok videos at 10 in the morning, drinking wine, ignoring their kids. Look, this is trying times, and trying times, call on people to do amazing things. And for us in sobriety, it's literally don't touch that drink.
Wow.
And I don't even have to me, I never even had a drinking problem. My thing was heroin. I drank fine. I honestly felt like if I had a drink right now, I wouldn't get carried away with drinking, but I also don't trust drunk beast at all. At the fuck all, which is the only reason I don't drink, because drunk beast is a fucking animal.
He's an animal. You're already an animal. Holly, let me ask you a question. Is art your only what's the word I'm looking for? Case study? Is art your only success story? Have you done other people that that sounds wrong. Have you worked with other people? Have you worked with other people that come to your studio and said, I don't have alcohol, I might have this or this? Has yoga kind of been like that big, catch-all for people who it can help?
I mean, it definitely can help. And then I've seen a ton of people where it helps. And then I've also seen people who are going through their own addiction, kind of coming off and changing the addiction to where they're doing, 3 classes a day of yoga, 7 days a week. And it's just swapping one addiction for another. So there is that, slightly better choice. And at the same time, still detrimental to your body. If you're, anything in too much is not good, So, but Art, do you want to share that email that you sent me? Remember that? Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Come on, Art.
Do you remember? It was the story about the airport. Do you remember? Can you hear me?
Ask him to share his clap story. That one's fun too.
Okay.
Oh,
wait.
But Art, do you know what I'm talking about? You don't need to read the email, but do you remember?
I'm sorry, real quick. You're cutting out. I didn't hear that story that Holly said. What now?
Oh, go ahead. Say it again, Holly.
Okay. So Art, do you remember when you sent me the email, maybe a year and a half ago from when you were in the airport? Do you remember that? He can't hear it. I'm not going to share the story until he hears what I'm saying.
No, I understand 100%. But Art, what are you using? AOL? What do you CompuServe? What do you got? Dial-up? What's going on, man?
Hold on.
Dude.
Better? Worse? What's going on here?
That's perfect. Okay. Can you hear what Holly's trying to tell you?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I did not hear what Holly had to say.
Okay, try it again, Holly.
Can you hear me now, Art?
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. We can hear you. Can you hear us? Art, can you hear us?
I can hear you, and I can hear Beast. I can't hear Holly for
Holly wants to share an email you sent in the airport a year ago. Just tell her yes.
Well, okay. Yeah. I'm not going to read it. Let him tell the story.
Wait, no. Okay, so Art, you tell the story.
shit, I can't remember the stories. What story do you want?
Okay.
The
so I'm
email
in
from the
Russian. No, I'm
airport.
kidding,
Never
I'm
mind.
kidding.
Go ahead.
Do you
Go ahead.
remember?
Okay, so yeah, I'm not ready for that story.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
All right,
maybe
cool.
some other time, but
Fantastic.
yeah.
Fantastic. The moral
Okay.
of the story is that
Yeah, that one was a rough one.
changes for me on my end to see the way people morph and change is glorious, and to get to know somebody on a personal level, you know, to develop friendships and things, and watch them blossom, you know, each time is just phenomenal. And without going into details, he sent me an email that forever I will hold on to.
Wow.
It touched me deeply. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. But you have seen it in your studio and in
Absolutely.
that there's that people come in and that, wow, that's amazing. Listen, you guys, like I've said before, when we did the veterans one, when I've done like, you know, a couple of things about the veterans and the PTSD, how they've, had a traumatic injury or a traumatic situation that happened to them, maybe overseas or whatever else, or even like the first responders, firemen, whoever else, they've had this PTSD, and then they find either paintball or something else that kind of gives them some comfort, some pleasure, some, like, you know, to break away from that kind of thing. I guess because I'm not really into this thing. I'm more of a, how do I say, I'm in the computer business, right? In the computer business, you go to a client place and you have to fix their computer. And if you don't fix their computer, you don't get paid. So my focus as a guy is to fix something. I'm always trying to fix, conquer, fix. That's what I try to do. So when I hear you guys talking about your things, I have to, my hat's off to you, because I couldn't do this. I couldn't have that kind of situation where I have to constantly come back to or know that something's right around the corner. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if I were to format someone's hard drive and I thought maybe one day it's going to crash again because I didn't do a good job, you know, I couldn't live with that. I got to fix that, either replace the hard drive or make sure everything's cool. With you guys, I keep on saying, is there hopefully a hard drive that can be fixed, maybe a memory that you can be replaced or something, so you can put this thing behind you. You don't have to worry about counting the chips or that kind of stuff. That's where I see things. Hang on a second. And speaking of that, Art, and tell us what is this?
Okay, so I don't know what that is, but it's supposed to be a sobriety chip. So like I was saying, back in the day, when I first started, they gave out little keychains, and like it would say like 6 months sober, and then it would have a saying, or it would have a like 9 months sober, and it have this serenity prayer on it. And then when I stopped going, I obviously did not collect any chips or tokens or keychains or anything like that. But when I went back, they had I had said I'd gone back that day when I first started yoga as well. I hadn't gone back until like maybe I think it was like 9 months in, because I didn't have a desire or a stress. I knew what I needed to do. I had my my 12-step booklet, and I was good. Like I was in control of this vessel type situation. But around 9 months, I started to get kind of antsy, and I'm like, dude, I might not make it. I'm gonna buckle. And so I went and I got a chip. I gave that to a close friend, so then, fast forward to my year, last year, I went to a meeting and I got my year chip. So, it's,
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
And
Phenomenal.
I carry it with me all the time. Like if you were to do a pocket dump, as they say, of your EDC everyday carry, I have that chip. Some dead man gave me this big old honking coin. It's good for one burger, but
wait, who gave it to you?
I don't know, but
Would you say
it's
some?
good for
Wait a minute.
man.
Wait a minute. He wasn't dead. I'm still alive, and I come on. I love that. No, somebody. It was a promotional tool. Listen, it was some kind of promotional tool that this woman came to me in a parking lot that said, "Go to our restaurant and take this chip in, and you get one free burger." And I said, "This burger's worth more than this chip's worth more than a burger. I'm keeping this chip." So I never got the hamburger, and I hung on to it. And then we went out to dinner that one night, and And he goes, hey, I've got my, oh, no, you know what he said? Art said to me, he goes, he told me the story that he didn't get his chip the first time, right? You didn't get they didn't have any, they ran out of chips or something?
They always give it at the end of the month. And I went on July 1st, and they were like, oh, you either missed our birthday celebration at the end of the month, or you're early for the July celebration. They ran out, and they had little poker chips, little plastic ones. They ran outside and spray painted one gold, and they were like, it's not the same, but here you go. And I still have that. It's the
yeah, but I felt bad when he told me that story. I felt bad, and I was like, I'll give you my burger chip. Here, you can have my burger chip. take my. It's not gonna. And so I gave him my burger chip, and I said, keep this. This is a great, and he's kept it with him.
It's not just a burger chip, man. Yeah, it's good for a burger, but it's good for a burger. It's an honorary sobriety chip. It's our friendship coin. And honestly, I'm going to be real with you, David. In the event of my premature demise and the Reaper comes down to carry me away to wherever I go, I'm going to pull it out of my pocket and be like, hey, man, I get one extra life. One extra life like a video game.
Dude, you got to do that, right? You can say, I know another Reaper. And so, take this
I'll
is
even
going.
give you a credit on your kidney with that.
Right. What do they say?
Okay.
Wait, you guys, what do they say in when you're crossing don't pay the ferryman, right? You don't pay. You have to so don't pay the ferryman with that chip. All right, cool. All right.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right.
So until he gets you to the other side. All right. Anyway, there you go. So Beast, you've been through a lot of I don't know what they're called. What are those programs called?
No, I've only done once. All right. So the way I set my treatment up was I went to a detox facility for 38 days. It was supposed to be 30, but I met Megan, who's upstairs there. So I busted my ankle and stayed an extra 8 days with her. But I spent 38 days in a detox. And then from there, they sent me over to McLean's mental institution by Harvard in Massachusetts. And they had a high-end, it was a mansion that they had 4 girls and 4 guys live on at the facility. And they'd have a counselor that lived during the daytime in the house with us. And they'd monitor us and try to get people back to healthy living, in a house full of each other. Now, for me, that's what did it. So I went to AA. I did 90 and 90 like everyone else. They had us do 90 days of both Alcohol Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was actually 180 and 90 because we did 2 a day. And then on top of that, in order to get out of the house, I checked out this thing that they had at the mental institution called Smart Recovery. That was more my thing because when I went into AA, they told, look, I'm not a very religious person. I was raised Jewish. My mother was Protestant. So when we visited my mother's side of the family, we'd celebrate Christmas and Easter. So I got the best of both worlds growing up with the 2 religions and being able to see everything from both sides of it. Because of that, I'm not a religious person at all. So when I got into AA, I was like, I'm not really feeling, there is no higher power. My higher power before this was heroin.
Wow.
And now my higher power needs to be me because I chose that over me. And now I need to choose me over everything else. And when you're in sobriety, you need to be selfish. Like people forget that. Like there's a time to be selfish and there's time not to be. And right now I'm in my sobriety and I'm very charitable because I can be. But in the beginning, you need to be selfish as hell. You need to do it for yourself. If you're getting sober for anyone else, you'll fail. If you're getting sober for your kid, you'll fail.
Wow.
If you're getting sober because of your parents or a loved one or somebody that's pressured or intervened you into something, you'll fail. I mean, that's just the truth. If you're not doing it for you, you're going to fail. And how I got sober, I didn't want to get sober. I went in for an oil change, straight up. My first, I was going to kill myself. That didn't work out. So then I was like, fuck it. Let's try to get sober so that, the next 27 days won't be so hard. I'll go in for an oil change. I'll come out. Maybe instead of doing 150 pills a day, I'll go back to doing 10 pills a day. I don't know. And it wasn't until day 3. And my rehab was a trip, man. I don't even remember. My parents drove me up there. I don't remember the drive. Some kids came over the night before and got me so high I couldn't even see straight.
Wow.
I woke up in a bedroom. There were 3. I've never seen this before. There were 3 beds in the room and then the bathroom. Most hotel rooms look like 2 beds. So I wake up in the morning and I assume I'm at a hotel. And I look to my left and there's a bed, and I look to my right and there's a bed, and I'm like, fuck kind of hotel did I wind up in? And then there's a knock at the door, and there's some guy like, Mr. Lang, it's time to wake up. I'm like, this is fantastic. I'll have an Eggs Benedict, please. I thought it was a bell house. I'm like, well, what a strange night. He goes, dude, you're in rehab. Get the fuck up. You got to go get your detox meds. And I'm like, oh, no.
Wow.
The long story short is my first couple of days there, I didn't want to be there. And then I'm like, this is good. I'm going to, they're taking care of me. They wrote me up, on how to detox. They tried to do the same thing that they do with everyone with opiates. Hey, we're going to give you like methadone. I'm like, or some type of synthetic opiate. I'm like, no, you're not. I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this right. I'm like, you're going to give me Ketaset and Ketapress for my heart rate and my elevated blood pressure. I'm like, you're going to give me Trazodone to help me sleep at night. And that's it. That's all I need. And they said, how do you know this? I said, trust me. Do as I say. Get your head doctor down here. And he did. He listened to everything I said, and they gave me exactly what I want.
Wow.
They should. We paid him like $39,000 for 32 days. So they, but long story short is in 5 days that detoxed me straight up, hands down. And I've been through withdrawals before. I've been through, withdrawals for a few days. And trust me, when you're on heroin and you're going through withdrawals, you wish you were dead. You won't die, actually, believe it or not. You only die from like alcohol and benzodiazepines if if you're going through withdrawals for those. But heroin, you wish you were dead. And trust me, those things are bad. That's one of the reasons I'm here 9.5 years still, because I don't want to go back to that feeling. But yeah, it's a mental thing, David. And each and every person's journey is different. And for all the people listening to your show right now, there's going to be a few cats in there that think like me, that might have the same mentality as me, that might be like, hey, look, I'm looking for an oil change. So here's the good part around, and this is scientific. Lobo's on here. I see him blowing up the chat. So, he's very smart on this, and he'll tell you. For most people, once you get off of the physical and mental addiction, physical addiction is actually quick, especially for opiates. It's like 5 days. Mental addiction for that, depending on the mind of the person, that could be anywhere from like 8 days to 22 days. For me, it was day 12. At day 12, I literally felt my intelligence and my sense of humor kick back in. And I had an aha moment. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to go back to using drugs. I'm just going to stay selling them, because I was making mad money doing that. And that was my mentality for like the next 15 days. And then they brought me to the doctor, because I do have medical conditions. I do have mental disease. I do have physical ailments, and I do need doctors. So they brought me to a doctor's office on day 16. I remember it was yesterday, because I'm sitting in the doctor's office and I'm like, yo, you guys just brought me to the man. I'm like, this is where I get my drugs. I go, I can walk in there, lift up my shirt, show a scar I got across my entire stomach, and be like, look, x-ray me. I'm half metal. I'm in fucking pain. And there's not a doctor on this planet that won't give me pills. None. So they brought me there. I'm like, yo, this is my biggest test. I'm 16 days in. I don't want to do drugs, but I still want to make money off of them because it's easy. And I walked out of that doctor's office. I was like, I need to take a break. I got to get out of here. This is a test. And I passed it. And after that moment, I felt it. I was like, yo, I'm done. I'm like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to sell it. I don't want to be around people that do it. I don't want to know about it. I want nothing to fuck to do with it. And that was 16 days in. So if you can give a human being that wants no chance at it, because I didn't. I just wanted an oil change. If you can give them 2 weeks where they can actually get their intelligence, because when we do drugs, we were taught our intelligence. I started at 13, which means that, 30 when I went into rehab? I was mentally 13. I mean, I still am. Reaper knows me. Art knows me. Art slept in houses with me in random states. God bless that kid's yeah, he'll tell you, sit, clap. That's not just a fun thing. Smoke knows what I'm talking about. Shout out to my friend Smoke. But, it's a journey. Everyone's got their own story to it. Mine's not unique or special or anything else. There's 1,000 stories better than mine. There's 1,000 stories worse than mine. But all of them have the same issue, and that's we're all either running from something, towards something, away from something, or trying to fill a hole, or, just trying to feel something or nothing. But it's all mental. Nobody, unless you're a crack baby, nobody was born addicted to drugs.
Well said.
Mamma mia. All right.
So what's your take on it, David? Because you do drink, and now you're in a room full of people. I have a lot of. Here's my favorite thing. All my friends out there.
I don't drink
And
that
all my
much.
team will tell you, "Oh, we don't want to drink around you." Listen, I'm the first designated driver at the bar. I go to the bar with my friends. I perform magic tricks at the bar. I'm actually a lot of fun. Ask my fiance; she'll tell you I'm a great time. I'm the best designated driver you'll ever meet because how many times have we gone out and the designated driver had about 6 more than you did? I used to be that asshole,
No, again, I used to drink like just in high school, social drinking. It always tasted like cough medicine to me. You know what I'm saying? It was like, why do people even want to put this in their mouth, right? So I never got it. And I've been high a couple times. I'm from California back, you know what I'm saying? So, but
yeah,
I
me
never.
too. Every time we come out to Cali and stomp you Dominion people out.
Yeah. So anyway, what I'm saying is that I never got addicted to anything. I'm just like, I just never, that wasn't in my thing. My biological dad, he was a professional gambler. And I went to Vegas and I tried and I hated losing money. So I said, I don't like this.
Wait a minute. Didn't you start this by saying that your wife had to put a leash on you because sometimes you get out of hand? So there's some genetics right there, my friend.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. And it's, you know what? I guess you're right. But I cured it by cutting the cards. So there you go. Anyway, but yeah, listen. So yeah, I understand again these stories, and I understand the. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm really big into the human condition. I'm really big into the people about when on my journey, on my adventure through this paintball thing. Again, all the hate and all that kind of shit. It just. When you can kind of say, you know what, it just doesn't matter anymore, and just it's fucking with my focus, and you just go forward, and then all of a sudden there's clarity. So I don't know if that's a comparison of you guys saying that you had this devil on your shoulder and you said fuck this thing and now I have clarity, or does that devil never go away? Does that devil always just kind of like he's just always in the background? You know what I'm saying? He's just kind of always in the background. I couldn't live like that. I told you, to me, it's like I'm running for something. I can't run from anything. I got to turn and face it and say, go away. Now you don't exist anymore. So that's kind of how I live my life. I don't have the same, again, I respect you guys and understand it. And I've had friends that also who have, what is it called? Gin blossom. Isn't that what it's called? Where you have that, like the nose, like Bill Clinton. Do you know what I'm talking about? You know what gin blossom is, right? You guys ever heard that?
I have, yeah.
Nope.
Okay,
No, I have.
have you heard that? You've heard the band called Gin Blossom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Gin Blossom is basically an old, I don't know if it's an Irish term or something, but basically they would be like these old white people, and you see their noses are just red with lines in them. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, I used to get like that after a night of partying.
Okay, so that's the slang term is called gin blossom, and that's from drinking too much gin or something, and that's what it is. So again, I never got to that point. I never was like, and I don't like throwing up. So I'm like, well, what's going to cause me to throw up drinking? So I don't like this. So anyway, listen, it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting journey, and I again at the beginning of the show when I said that your guys' journey is a journey of so it's a path that you're not the first one to go on. A lot of obviously there's probably been cavemen that got drunk on like Tyrannosaurus Rex juice or something. I got no idea, but there's always been something where somebody has done something like this. So what you guys are basically doing is you're pretty much lucky, I guess, because you have things like this. You have these addiction centers where they can help you out, kind of thing. They can dry you up or whatever else. But like I said before, I think the bottom line is it's a mental thing. And that's what Beast told me about this thing, is that there's, it's a mental thing. Whether it's, for me, fear of flying, which I had to conquer, or
Falling.
fear of water.
You're not afraid of flying. You're afraid of flowing.
I'm afraid of what?
Falling. You're not afraid of, nobody's afraid of flying. Everybody's afraid of falling.
That's not true. That's not true. You're claustrophobic. When you're claustrophobic.
You've never been in a G5 by yourself.
What are you talking about?
Don't they fly you all over the place?
Yeah, but what's a G5?
Oh my God, you're being sponsored by the wrong people. All right, we'll straighten you out. We'll talk after
Okay.
this.
Anyway, what I'm saying is that I used to be claustrophobic, and then all of a sudden you take a person who's claustrophobic and put them in a plane, and they have to go to Europe, and you're like, I got to deal with this. So I was taking Ativan. Okay, Ativan. You know what Ativan is? You guys know what Ativan is? Ativan is Ativan is it.
It's no dose. It's a speed, isn't it?
No, it's not speed. It's the opposite. It turns you into a zombie.
It depends who you are. Ritalin will take hyperactive people and make them calm, but it'll make a non-hyperactive people act like speed. Drugs are based on humans, not based on
Okay. So basically, Ativan, you guys, is another part of this. I don't know what it's called, but it just latherpan, something pan, where it would calm you down. So I would take one of these, and I'd be like, "Oh, this is cool." And then, like, for about 4 hours, it'd be great. And then I realized if I do too many of these things, I might start really liking this thing. So that's where I said, I've got to deal with this on my own. And I did. I started learning. I started reading things. I started doing things. And I broke this fear of claustrophobia, flying, whatever it is. Now, obviously, you guys know I fly over the world, and nothing bothers me anymore. So again, that's a mental thing, though, right? I had a mental problem that I was able to face and say, I don't want to take pills to solve this problem. I just want to, and I wasn't a higher power. I wasn't like, praying to the cloud god or anybody. I was just saying that I figured out how to do this, and I'm going to, and whatever. So I share that secret to other people too, who have fear of flying. Is this kind of the same path that what we're talking about? That I had a mental kind of I had a phobia, or I had something, and I dealt with it instead of drowning it. I faced it. And I crushed it. And I said, you're not controlling my life anymore. Is that kind of the same thing?
I mean, depends who you're asking. Once again, depends who you're asking.
Well, I can't ask the audience because...
Well, you can. They're all commenting. I started a watch party, and actually half of the people on my watch party I've brought into sobriety.
Nice.
And that's because I've also brought them into the reason them needing sobriety. So I'm at like a halfway point here. I haven't even gotten myself into the green yet, but I'm working my way up there, and this show is going to help that.
So listen, Rosemary, yes, it's a sedative, right? It's a sedative. It's just it calms you down. Again, I stopped. I don't take them anymore. I don't even whatever. I fixed it myself. Is it kind of a character? What's it called? Where you can do things you're on your own.
Willpower.
Willpower. Or you don't have the willpower? Is that why you had to do this thing that you're doing? You muted yourself, Art.
So
there you go.
No, I think you're muted again, Art.
Unmute. Okay, there you go. All right.
Better?
Yeah.
Good?
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. My willpower is shitty, man. Like, I like feeling good. I replaced one vice with another vice. Like, instead of going to the bars, I would go to yoga. Instead of, like partying all night Saturday, I can't do that because I got to go play paintball Sunday, and like, I wasn't feeling good. I gained weight. I got a bad knee. I got a bad wrist, these things were not, they didn't, I wasn't living a healthy lifestyle. So it just kind of snowballed. And then, but like once I started getting healthy and, like, I did yoga, I dropped weight, like alcohol and liquor and all that stuff. Those are empty calories. So,
Okay.
I don't need that shit.
So
I like to eat. I'm not sure if you've seen me at the buffet, but I could hold my own. So
okay. So Holly and Beast, with the little story that I just told you, which is like this compared to what you guys have gone through, but basically, is that kind of the same thing we're talking about, where you realize that you have it, because that's what they always say about alcoholics or whatever. You have to first say that you have a problem, right?
Right.
You have to admit that you have a problem, and then you have to deal with it. I didn't do any steps. I just said, this is what I feel my problem is, and I'm going to take care of it, and I did. Maybe because I don't have maybe an addictive personality, or maybe I'm not having to like push down any other things. It was just this one thing that I had a situation with, and I had to fix it. Are we kind of talking about the same thing about willpower and being able to, overcome?
I think it depends on the person. I mean, I know for me, my dad's an alcoholic. He would never admit to it, but I know to not call him after 4:30 in the afternoon, or he's just going to be sloshed,
Wow.
And then, I'm a child of I grew up, high school, child of the 80s. And, we're doing drugs all the time. back then, you know, going through high school. And there got to a point where for me, I was doing it not a lot compared to some of the people that I was hanging out with, but enough to where I knew, hey, I'm going to really like this if I keep this up. And so I just in that moment went, done. I still drink, but it was, you know, the drug scene was pretty big. And I just thought this is not the way, you know, not the way that I want to live at this point. My boyfriend at the time was like stealing from his parents, you know, and all this. And I'm like, this is not how I want to do it.
Did you do the, what is that when you're codependent or Al-Anon or something like that? Isn't there that, what is that called? What's that thing?
Al-Anon. Yeah. I went to that for a while and I found it really helpful. My ex-husband is an alcoholic as well. So it was after the divorce that I was starting to go under urging of friends, because at first they were like, you should go. And I'm like, no, you know, I blew it off completely. And then I got a lot of value out of it. It ended up not working with my schedule and the meetings that I found. I didn't vibe with the people. So I just kind of stopped, but it was helpful for sure.
Nice. So Beast, let me ask you a question. You said that if there was no consequences.
Oh yeah, I'd be using dope in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Why not? It's the best feeling on the planet.
So okay, so are you then living a life of how do I say this? What's
deprivation or?
Yeah,
no,
like you're not.
I've found other things that really play. It's like anyone said. Look, first thing in addiction they tell you to do. First of all, I don't know why, but everybody goes bowling. I don't know why bowling is like the anonymous. Everybody that's been in those meetings knows what I'm talking about. 37 and bowling is the two things Alcohol Anonymous, but you know, and then Narcotics Anonymous is completely different because that's just like I don't know what that is. That's like somebody went to a club and removed the lights and music. And look, you're going to get good people in every group. You're going to get bad people in every group. For me, Smart Recovery was the way to go. It was a scientific based. I'm very science based. You know, I didn't believe that some power up there made me willis over drugs. No, it was my stupidity, and it was things that I was running from or hiding from. For me, it stemmed from adoption, finding out I was, you know, at a young age, I was adopted, and the I guess the mental issues that causes for a child. You know, amongst everything, we're all a product of both of our environment and our upbringing. That's change. You know, everything that we do shapes. So it's like you said, your father had a problem with gambling. You had a problem with spending money. Those are interlinked. That's a synapses in your brain that's telling you to do something that's contrary to your survival. You know, your health. And that's an addiction. Look, we breathe every second. That's an addiction. But, you know, that's good. If you stop breathing, I mean, that might be good for my business, but not this one down here. But, you know, you need to breathe. That's a good addiction. So when you're able to take something like gambling or prostitute sex or drugs or, you know, shooting people in the face for fun, not paintball, and you're able to replace that with working out at the gym, you know, reading a book, getting a PhD or any degree or a GED, you know, those are the replacements that they all do. If your mind is wired that you need constant stimulation, maybe drugs isn't the thing for you. Books might be better.
Right. I got it. Okay. You guys, let's bring these things up. And just again, as a public service, we're trying to show you guys these things. Hang on one second. Let me do this and let me do that. And let me bring up this one here. So, okay, you guys help me out with this one. The first one here. Let's do this. And where is it here? Okay. So this one is the standard Alcoholics Anonymous, right? Art? Here, I'll make it bigger for you on your iPhone. There you go. Now it's bigger on your iPhone. How's that? Yeah? Yeah? Can you see this, Art?
He has a sidekick.
Oh, no. Art, did you take off your headset? Because he's getting the crackling sounds again. Art,
he's eating Pop Rocks.
Oh, okay.
I think that's the right website, though. It looks like it.
Okay, cool. So you guys, listen. Again, I'm coming at...
Better.
Okay.
Here he is.
Right.
Sorry.
I'm coming at this again as a person who is not in this world.
Sorry about that.
And so there's like Alcoholics Anonymous. You can reach out to them. I'm sure you can go to any one of their friends of Bill W. or whatever their thing is. But also, you guys, one of the reasons that we did the show tonight is to reach out to these cool cats. Each one of these cool cats is like you can PM them and just like, you know, say, hey, I've got the situation, whatever your situation is. That's why they're on the show tonight, not just because they're cool, friendly people, but they're also like here to help if you guys want to be connected with them and do whatever you want to do. Let me ask you about this one here. This one is Narcotics Anonymous. Hang on a second. So is this the one with Adam? Is this something that you were doing? This Narcotics Anonymous?
I mean, I did all of them, but the one that I stuck with was Smart Recovery. I did 90 days of Narcotics Anonymous in 90 days. I did 90 days of Alcohol Anonymous in 90 days, and I did 90 days of Smart Recovery.
Okay, so here's Smart Recovery, a nonprofit organization. Smart Recovery is an international nonprofit organization that provides assistance to individuals seeking abstinence from addiction. Now, you said you have a personal connection with this.
Well, now actually, so my mother, it was a former social worker in the 80s in Harlem, in Long Island. She's always been very active. And my parents are not addicts at all. I don't think they've ever even smoked or done drugs at all. They drank very infrequently growing up. They're very good people. I was adopted. They're the opposite of me. They're really good, but they were having a hard time with it, and they went to, at first, all that was available was Al-Anon, as Holly just had mentioned, which is a great resource for families that don't know how to handle addiction, because that's hard. When you're not an addict, that's really difficult to deal with an addict. As an addict, we will lie, steal, cheat, connive, break trusts, bonds, burn bridges, and that's just, at like 8:15 in the morning trying to score something. When you're in a real bad addiction, you will sell out your own mother. There's nothing you wouldn't do. It's terrible, which is hard because addicts are some of the most kind, trustworthy, loyal, friendly people on the planet. They're just a bunch of misunderstood people with mental addiction. But in this world, I mean, who doesn't have mental addiction? Your mind controls your body. Your body's controlled by your thoughts. Your thoughts are made up of every stimulus that you encounter throughout the day, and at night when you're in REM sleep and you're trying to process all of that stuff. Everything happens up there. And just like my fucking computer, which you've seen me snap keyboards in half plenty of times, these things don't fucking work right. They're a bunch of electronic signals and processors that send out shit and they get fucked up. Well, so do our minds. We're no different. We're a battery. We're a computer. As far as I know, we're still the best one out there. I don't think AI has, wiped us out yet.
Right.
But, we need reboots every now and then. We need resets. We need to talk. I talked to therapists growing up as a kid. It was fun, I didn't really get much from them other than learning therapy and applying that to my magic. But it's helpful for some people that need it. And definitely the best part that I got of any of the groups, whether AA, NA, or SMART, is being able to sit down and talk to somebody. Because it's one thing, David, for you up there, as you keep repeating, you're not from this world. No one's going to listen to you. You can't tell somebody to get sober. You can't, help them. You couldn't even throw them an intervention if you wanted to. You'll just lose that person forever. They're not going to appreciate it. Like I said, us addicts need to do it for ourselves. But once we make that decision, we need other former addicts so fucking bad. That's the problem with COVID, is all this social distancing. No, it's physical distancing is what we should have been doing. We should have socially been coming together and online. I did that. I did that with you, Reaper. Art, we do that all the time. I've done it with certain people in the MagFit community just to keep myself, because when this whole thing happened, I worked 11 hours a day, man, by myself. So I called everybody. Working alone in a hot-ass warehouse by yourself, repeating the same function over and over for 11 hours straight without a break. It's tedious. It takes time and a mind. Luckily, when I was in jail, every time I got in trouble and to sit in my cell by myself, I didn't mind. I'd sit there and laugh. I'm the funniest person in the room, and that's even if I'm the only one in the room. So I do good by myself, but a lot of people don't. So in this time where everyone's having to isolate, maybe people are retreating, people are picking up those drinks they haven't done. Art, like you said, shit's going on. What's the one drink going to do? Reach out. Call, email, reach out to someone. Doesn't have to be a family member that doesn't understand you or a loved one that doesn't get you. It could be somebody that's, gone through it. The longer they've had, reach out to them. The new guys, that's the hardest part, is when you're fresh. You're still fresh. You're 2 years. It's real easy to trip up. That's why they say don't date nobody in rehab. Of course, like everything else in my life, I don't listen to what
you didn't listen.
And the little girl you saw running around is a product of somebody I met in rehab.
Nice. And
I made the decision, and we made the decision to do that, because for me, it's like, how are you going to handle me as a law-abiding, sober person? The old me would have just been too much for somebody to handle. But when you can understand the highs and lows of mental, because it's like I said, it's a mental thing. I got mental issues. She won't mind me saying it. She's upfront about it. We're like an open book because that's the only way you can help certain people. Like,
right.
She's got mad mental issues. It's, life is not easy, folks. Life's a challenge. Everything's not like it is in the movies, unless you're watching horror movies. It's like what you see on the news, like life sucks sometimes. Everyone whines about the cards they were dealt. I don't. Man, I've seen 5 people win the fucking poker champion by bluffing. They were dealt shitty cards and they walked away with $1 million. So fuck all your whining about what cards you were dealt, man. Don't play fucking cards then. Go play dominoes. But, whatever hand that you're dealt, win. Just do what you can to do to win. And in our world, stay the fuck sober. Stay sober, stay grinding, take care of your friends and your family. And the more you do that, the easier it is for you to stay sober. It's like teaching, man. The more you teach, the more you learn.
Right. I got it. You guys listen, Steve Rickett. Do you guys know who Steve Rickett is? No? Well, I do. He's a MagFed guy. He's also a first responder, and he's also a fireman. Dude, this guy is he's an amazing guy. But he did a quick little poem I'm going to show you guys called Poem for First Responders. So let me show you guys this. Hang on a second. Let me bring this up. You guys can take a little break here and... How's that?
That was lovely.
That's good.
Nice.
Yeah.
I hope it applies because I think it does. Okay, cool. So you guys, listen. Let's do this. We talked about Alcoholics Anonymous. We talked about the what was the other one?
Hold on. Can you back up 1 second, David? Who is the EMT you just put up that video was for?
His name. Yeah, I'll show it right there. Hang on 1 second. There we go. Look at that. His name is Stephen Rickett.
Stephen Rickett just won something.
Oh, wow. Cool. Dude, Steven, look at this. Hang on a second. Steven is popping up right here.
Steven, while you're here, Steve, you just won something. When Reaper comes back to me, I'll show you what you won.
He's a firefighter, captain, paramedic, one of the founding members of Task Force Tiger Scenario Paintball Team, and the music makes the video. Wow, dude, Steven. All right, Steven, listen, you just won something. There's Beast.
Because nobody's seen this. You've seen it briefly on a picture, David.
Yeah. Okay. So
this is something we had made up specifically for the MagFed community, law enforcement community, first responders, EMT. They've asked for it. This is what they wanted. This is what we've made. It is a hand sanitizer, not from my factory down here, but from Irving, California. And it comes in a pouch form. This is 4 ounces, and this is beast proof, squish proof, smash proof. But it's made to go into Somalis, into pounds, cargo packs. You can walk around with it. Even women love it by the Aventura Mall, where we have a lot of our stuff selling because it reminds them of the little baby pouches and it goes right in the purse. It's closable, resealable. It's 80% ethyl. It has aloe in it. It is a gel. I don't sell that liquid crap ever. Unless you want it, I can sell you liquid crap, but this is a gel and 80 ethyl, made in America. We don't do anything that's not made in America, as you can see from that disaster in Mexico from BioSchem that they had to recall all their hand sanitizer. No, Reaper, don't go to that one. This is a different company.
All right, cool. All right, hang on.
That one we still have too, and that one's going really strong. But this one I made for the community. This one's going to be coming up through the fields. All right. And I'm going to be giving it to now the guy that was just on here, Stephen Rickett.
Yeah.
We only have 4 of these in existence. We just ordered a couple thousand of them, which should be here next week. As soon as I get it, that please PM me. Let me know how many people are in your unit, and we're gonna get you guys squared away with these on me.
Wow, dude.
Wonderful.
This guy is amazing, right? Isn't this guy amazing? This is, dude, if I had another hamburger chip, I'd give it to you.
And I'm trying to make this in a 2 ounce. This is a 4 ounce. So I'm trying to make a 2 ounce one as well. But, you know, at that point, when you get down that small, you're paying more for packaging than product. So that's why we stay with the gallons. You guys want gallons. Everyone watching the show tonight, you want to buy a gallon, hit me up. It's 40 on our site. I'll give it to you for $36.
Wow, dude. Okay, cool. So listen, Steven says that's what's up. That's awesome, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem, Steve. No, don't thank me, man. You're out. I'm sitting in here fucking talking with Reaper, Holly, and fucking Art, who thinks that we can still clap lights on in expensive houses. You're out there on the front lines doing, like, you know, real work. And don't thank me, man. Thank you.
Nice, dude. That's again. So you guys, ladies and gentlemen, he's talking about this cool cat. That's Steven. And yeah, he's just a great guy. I've known him for a very long time. He actually used to call into my other show when I just did just like the radio show. So he's just a great guy. Steven, congratulations on that. Okay, you guys, let's do this. Holly, let's pop over to yours for a second, and let me pop in here. Holly, what are we looking at right now?
So that's the website for, I guess, everything. It used to be for the studio, and then we had to change it, you know, once the studio closed because of COVID. So on the website, it talks about kind of what we do and who we are and our approach. And then it has an email sign up area on multiple pages. So people can go there and like throw in their email address. And every Sunday morning, I send out an email with our links for our donation-based yoga classes. And we have all sorts of different classes during the week, not as many as we had at the studio. We're still trying to build it a bit, but donation-based. So
nice.
You could send the teacher some love, and yeah, there you go. So yeah.
Dude, I love it. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
All right. So and you also working with people. So for what is this, weight loss? Is this what's going on here?
No,
I'm just joking. I'm joking. She's pregnant.
Okay, that's my granddaughter inside that belly, just so you know.
You're funny. You're funny.
No,
all
for
right,
real.
Cool. No, that's fantastic. All right, I like it. Okay, cool. So let me do this. Let me jump over to so Art. I mean, not Art. Art had nothing. Art's a loser. He's got nothing. But we've got this one here. Okay, so tell us about the thing that's scrolling along the bottom. Our show is sponsored by AMZ Laboratories, makers of the best hand sanitizer on the market. Use the code Reaper to get 10% off. And there's the address. So tell us about your hand sanitizer that's different than the other one.
Oh, okay. So yeah, this one, if you scroll down on the little thing, you see the gallons. Go click on a gallon jug. Can you do that? There you go. I'll just be brief. Gallons pumps is where everybody wants in retail right now. We just made a really nice Sani stand. It's a stainless steel stand that goes out in front of retail shops. I got it here next to my massage table, but I don't think you can see it. It's over on the other side of the couch. Oh yeah, you can see the little silver thing sticking up. So everybody's trying to sell this on Facebook for $80. It's ridiculous. This is gel. This is pure 75% isotrophic gels, medical grade. We sell to hospitals. It just has purified water, hydrogen peroxide to keep the bad bacteria from growing, because there's an alcohol-resistant bacteria that'll grow in there if you don't have your hydrogen peroxide levels right. And then other than that, it's just purified water, the stuff to make it a gel, and that's it. And everyone's trying to sell $70, $60, $80, $50. And we put it at $40 all day long for regular accounts.
Wow.
You know what? You can get 10% out. And if you want to buy like more than 100 gallons at a time, you call me up. I'll give you a wholesale discount.
Wow.
And
dude.
it's good. Reva, you've seen it. You know, you can't
I've seen
talk
it.
about it.
I know.
It's
I love the stuff. I use it.
You got to buy a lot in order to get my pricings, and we do. So
no, but I really enjoy it. I actually, he sent me a bunch of it. I give it out to the players. I really like it. It's really cool. So
yes, this one's from our local Fort Lauderdale facility. The other one is
nice.
from a 19-year-old factory in Irvine, California, that does
Nice.
name brands, name brands, and we could private label if anyone else is interested in that.
I got it. Okay.
You got to buy a lot of private label.
All right. So and Art, are you going to talk to us about substitute abuse? I'm sorry. It was just a joke.
Substitute abuse? I can. High school
Never
had
mind.
my substitute teachers.
No, substitute teaching is awesome. No, it's great. I love the kids. The kids love me, and it's all good. There's no abuse whatsoever.
All right, there you go. All right, it was a play on words. You understand that? Thank you very much. All right, cool. All right. Anyway, so you guys listen. Did we hit all the points here? We could talk for hours about this kind of thing, but we talked about smart recovery?
Wait. Whoa. Hold on.
Oh,
I got
I'm
one
sorry.
last thing.
Oh, you got something to say? Oh, ooh, okay.
I don't have a cool website because I'm not techno savvy. I'm still in the Stone Age. But I would like to give a shout out to those that have supported me and given me love on my journey, if that's okay.
For you, the world, please.
All right, fantastic. So, Holly, thank you. I can never repay you for what you've done for me in my journey, and like, just thank you so much.
Back at you, brother. Back at you.
Beast. Thank you for not sending me on my merry way in the lake in Chicago. I appreciate you. I thought it was a joke until I realized it was the truth, and then I'm like, oh shit.
You were so close.
Oh my god. Who was it? Was it Castle or was it Flank that stopped you from doing that?
Honestly, it was probably both. I think it was.
Okay.
I don't think anybody in there. Smoke almost had you in there, though.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. So shout out to these teams. The various members on these specific teams have been there for me, have given me nothing but love, have been there when I've reached out to them, and I am indebted to them. So first and foremost, I got the Nomads.
Nice.
Nomads. Yeah. Let's see who else I got. I got Brothers from Other Mothers. I got Dead Man's Hand.
Nice.
So yeah. Jimmy, I'm not gonna forget you, brother. There we go.
Jimmy's son.
Okay. Oh, here's one. Spectre. I love all the guys on Spectre, so much love there. This one, Castle. I don't know if you're gonna hear this, or you're probably gonna have your operatives tell you, but Castle and Foxy.
Oh yeah, I know them. Nice.
Yeah.
I like them. Okay,
Earned,
cool.
never given. And then obviously Reaper, I'm not sure if anyone else knows, but I'm also part, in addition to paintball, I'm part of an adventure society, the Modern Day Pirates, and they've been there for me. I actually run a sober living page for them as well.
Nice.
Awesome.
So in conjunction with this, I also do that. And then last but not least, these guys have my six on and off the field. They're my brothers, and Magfit Samurai. So
Nice. Very cool. Dude.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for it. And if you've ever played against me or played alongside me or simply know me through my adventures, my endeavors, my online persona or my in-person persona, just thank you. And if I could reach just one person, I consider this whole thing, not just this podcast, not just my paintball career, but if I could just reach one person, I consider my whole life a win. So
Wow,
thank you,
dude.
Reaper, for giving me this platform to do my shtick for a little bit.
Thank you for bringing up the idea. I mean, it was kind of like this crazy mind meld synchronicity thing where I was driving back from Santa Barbara, actually from the San Luis Obispo thing, and I called you out of I called you for some reason, right? I think I was bored, so I called you. No, I'm just joking.
You're driving home from your daughter's college stuff, right?
No, maybe I think one of those something, and we were like, wow, this is a great idea. Let's do this thing. And like I said, I was struggling because I always try to do some of these kind of cool names, and I was struggling for like a name, and then all of a sudden this Paint and Sober, and you were like, yeah, that's great. So I'm glad that Beast jumped on. You killed it, my brother. Holly, you're amazing as well. I'm glad that you guys were. I don't know what he had to do. I mean, I understand he owes you a debt of whatever, but I mean, is this part of it? Is this like a payoff something, or what? Why are you on the show? I'm just joking. Never mind.
Because he's amazing. I'll do anything.
Oh,
for him.
that's why. See, oh, look at that. I just threw her a softball. Look at that. Boop, like that. And she went, boom, out of the park. Nice. Very cool. Beast, you're amazing.
Thank you. Let me do my thank yous too. I want to thank my mother and my father.
Go ahead. Thank the Academy. Go ahead.
I got to thank my mother and my father. I do. I want to thank my fiance and my daughter, my little brother Jason. I also found out that I got 2 other brothers and 3 other sisters that I didn't find out about 2 years ago. So Ashley,
dude.
Tiffany, Melissa, thank you, girls. I don't know if Dylan or Justin are listening, but Art here. Look at this one from Adam Collier in Canada. What do you think of that?
Nice. Canada, baby. I love Canada. Good job, Heather. Nice.
Nomads, Titans, my family's on the fields, OD, everybody. Look, the whole Magnet community, you guys are my room. You're my group. Your events, the traveling, the camaraderie, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, everything that's involved in MagFed. On and off the field. I get more out of that than I did out of all 3 of those rooms put together. And I got a lot out of all of those 3 rooms put together. This keeps me. It's one thing to get to somewhere. The journey is easy. But staying on that takes time and practice and patience, intelligence. And, if you want it, you'll get it. It's like anything in life. Anything that you want and you work hard enough for, you'll get. And if you have to, you step up and take it. Thank you for letting me have my thank yous.
Wow, dude. That's good. Holly, what do we got?
Thanks for having me on here. And you guys have inspired me. I think I'm going to have to check out some paintball action because
come on.
I haven't tried it before. Haven't
Come
tried
on.
it. Art, I'm going to talk to you about it, brother. We're going to figure it out. Yeah. So no, thanks. This was great. Thanks. It was wonderful to hang out with you all.
Wow. Okay. So you guys listen. You guys know how the shows go. I just let things flow. People go. I let them run with it. Again, these shows are for you guys, about the community. Whatever you got, a suggestion, you got an idea, you got something, bring it to us. Come on. Let's just do it. Let's just make it happen. What you guys have to realize, and this is the big picture, is you might think to yourself, this is just bullshit. But like Art just said, if I can touch one person, then my mission is complete. So maybe that's the same thing with you guys. If you guys have an idea or something and you guys think, I don't know, come on, let's do it. Just do a show about it. Let's have a great time. And if it's benefiting the community, whatever, I mean, I'm in. So let's do it.
This is it. This is all it takes. If addicts can see that former addicts can do it and succeed, that's the only thing that they need. They need to know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel and it ain't a fucking train. They need to know that it's like working out. Like everyone wants to work out, but no one wants to put in the effort. If you don't see your muscles grow within a day, you're like, that's the willpower. People need to see and they need to hear. And you can't keep that in a room hidden. You can't be afraid to say, yo, look, I suffer from mental disease. I'm fucking bipolar. I'm crazy. And yet I'm still out here trying to help everybody the best I can, including myself. I'm trying. And that's all we can do. That's the only thing you're granted in this life is, death and taxes and the fact that at some point I'm going to rip an organ out of your body. That's it.
Yeah, stop it. Stop scaring people. All right. Anyway, so Rosemary says, thanks for the show, David. It brought me out of this one that I was in, and I wasn't sure how to crawl out. Grateful. Wow. That's amazing. Wow. Art, I think you got your, there you go, Art.
There you go.
Now you can die in peace, Art. There you go. All right. There you go. I'm addicted to work, and I don't love the light of the tunnel until this. Wow, this is great, Rosemary. Thank you very much. Okay, you guys, listen. I'm going to drop you down in the green room. Do you feel that we hit all the bases? There's never enough time to talk about everything that we always want to talk about. But is there anything that you want to say that we missed, or what?
I don't think so.
We covered a lot. Okay. Art, Beast, we're all good? Good. Okay, I'm going to drop you guys down in the green room. I'm going to end the show. Holly, don't hang up.
No, we're not good. Tune in. I think we're doing it this week. Smoke and Mirrors podcast. Me and Smokey are going to tantalize your ear canals.
All right. I like
if you're in Magnet, Florida, we're going to violate your ear canals.
Ooh, I like it. So you guys listen, Holly, don't hang up. We're going to talk to you in the green room. So just hang out, and I'm going to put you guys down for a minute. And we do that and that. It's unmuted. Is it unmuted now? All right, our sound disappeared. Anyway, you guys, listen. I if you still muted, I'm still muted. All right, better now. Cool, Adam. Thanks, Adam. If you're constantly living in the past, if you constantly live in the past, that you're not going to get anywhere. If you're constantly living in you have to live in the present. You have to live in the moment. Live in the present. Live in the moment. Because if you don't do that, you're going to be straddled by the past and the future, and you're not going to get anywhere. They said, I have something, I'm opening up, and be that. They opened up their hearts and they said, we're here. This is what we do, and we're not going to put ourselves down. Don't put yourselves down, guys. My last one is one of my favorite quotes. If I miss the water, whatever, you'll talk yourself out of everything. If you feel it, if it's the right thing, do it. Just run and do it. Just jump and do it. So that's it. Sorry that this went crazy for a second, but it's technology and there's nothing you can do about it. All right, you guys, listen, I'm out of here. Be safe. And we got a bunch of cool shows coming up. But until that time, I'll shoot you soon. Bye.